Alrighty, so hey everybody, this is Robert, and thank you so much for tuning in to Station Square. And I know times right now are definitely pretty intense. Yeah, to say the least. But I know that there's a lot that has just been going on. Like, first off, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm just so sorry that it kind of had to start off on such a crazy, devastating note, but I'm just kind of here right now, and we're just back into the game and just doing the best I can. And to all of those that have been affected by the fires here in LA, my heart is with you. I pray that there's going to be a lot of help, more donations, the GoFundMe's that you've been seeing here. So definitely want to get this right out of the way before we actually get started with the interview. But in case if anybody's wondering, I'm doing okay. I'm safe, and this sun is in my eye. Okay, there we go. I'm doing okay. I'm safe, and I hope that everybody out there that is just doing their best, just in the midst of these trying times. Like, I know that we definitely need to be helping each other more than ever, and so much more unity to be found. So I'm just praying that there will be a light at the end of this. But yeah, I just wanted to say right now, my heart is with everybody that has been going through this. And yeah, it's just, you know, kind of sad and everything. But I just don't want to end this. Sorry to start this off on a depressing note, but I promise that we will get to the, actual conversation. But yeah, I just wanted to say this message right now that my heart is with you all, and be safe out there. And wear a mask. Just got to go back to doing that. Just always wear your masks. Better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to this, my first interview of the year, which is kind of weird that we're already into 2025, which I still can't believe. So I guess to start off this new year, sort of with a bang, we have somebody who you've seen a lot of webinars of. She's been around the block for quite some time. This is Elise. So thank you so much for joining me on today's little episode.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's a joy to be here.
Yep, anytime. So I figured this would be something to just, alleviate the stress and everything that's just been happening lately. So I guess we could just discuss just pretty much whatever, anything that kind of comes to mind. Like, I don't have a list of questions. We'll just kind of wing it like I always do on the show.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to share. For folks who don't know me, I'm Elise Arsenault. I am a working actor. So I've been a voiceover artist for a while. I've been an actor for, I would say, about 20 years now, a working actor. And I discovered audiobook narration about 9 years ago. And when I discovered audiobook narration, it changed my life. And a few years after it changed my life, I decided I had to start teaching people how to do it because, I mean, we as actors need to feel more empowered to take control of our career in ways that we can. And I think a lot of folks who probably listen to your podcast, Robert, know like voiceover is where it's at. But also, even more specifically, if you haven't explored audiobook narration yet, I love it because it's something you can do no matter where you are. So, in light of what's happening in LA, it's so sad, it's so horrific. I'm really, like Robert said, my heart is with everyone. And the world is continuing to change and shift, and there's going to continue to be things that are out of our control. So what I love about audiobook narration is it is something that you can take with you if you do end up leaving major cities. Like for me, I left New York City many years ago, and I was so worried that by leaving the city, I would be like, I felt like I was saying no to my dreams, or I felt like I was letting myself down. But the truth was, I needed to make that financial decision. And it helped me by leaving New York. It helped me find all these ways I could be an actor outside of a huge market. And that's essentially where I found audiobook narration. So I like to empower people to explore audiobook narration as a income stream that you can build, whether you're an actor or already working as a voice actor. So that's my passion. My company's the Global Actor, and my course is the Great Audiobook Adventure. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, we all have some form of escape, and especially as of right now, it's kind of like we have something and we find this weird little element that just kind of all comes together. Like for me, I know it's definitely voiceover, and
Yeah.
believe it or not, this is actually the first time I even had this. I'm recording anything for over a week. So I know that this is
Mhm.
something that kind of feels weird when you sort of slowly get back into it, especially after
Mhm.
a horrific tragedy like,
Yeah,
the last week or so. But you know what? I'm just kind of
Mhm.
glad that I'm just, still here. I have a house. I have all this
Absolutely.
stuff behind me, clothes.
Yes,
So
yes.
it just definitely is another reminder to just not take everything for granted. And especially in
hmm
the field of voiceover, where a lot of it is just you kind of listen here online that it's competitive and everybody's out for the same role, or you just hear stuff like, "Oh, I'm just kind of not happy that I didn't get this." Well, what is something that you're really proud of right now? What is something that you're grateful for? This is something that I kind of teach. I say a lot on the show.
hmm
It's like the art of gratitude is just something that
Yes.
I feel doesn't get talked about enough, but it really does make a huge difference in the
Oh,
long run.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I couldn't agree with you more, Robert. I think like gratitude is the way out of anything. Like it is the way out. And I don't want to go to a place of toxic positivity where I'm saying like everybody are going to be okay. Like I know we are. I know we are going to be okay. And I know if you're going through something difficult right now, there is help. We're all in this together. And gratitude, we can kind of lift us out of anything where we're at. If we're open and if we're able to find just one thing to shift our energy again, like I don't, part of me is like, for anyone who's in the LA fires right now, like I don't want you to take this as what you're going through doesn't matter, but like this is for anyone at any time. Gratitude can be the thing to shift us out of feeling down about not getting a job, to shift us out of feeling depressed because it's been a long time since I've seen my friends, to shift us out of it. I'm in New England right now where it's freezing cold, to shift us out of like, oh, it's 18 degrees weather and I don't really want to be outside right now. So gratitude can just help us. It's like the first step on the way to getting to a more optimistic place, a happier place, a high vibe, a high energy place, a confident place, which is where we need to be if we want to be at this level of attracting the jobs. Again, wildfires aside, I don't think anybody needs to look for gratitude right now. Like, save what I'm saying for later, but like gratitude in general, I think can really help us get there. So, I guess in a way though, Robert, you started this off with like there are people who are helping. There are fundraisers happening, and sometimes in these moments of chaos and trauma, we see how people come together.
Exactly. I mean, the amount of support that I've seen just from the past week alone is just nothing short of just incredible. So just seeing everybody just really come together and just helping those out in these trying times. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts from, say, Nava. I'm just gonna shout them out real quick, and
Yeah.
you and boy, there's so much. There's way too
hmm
many that I would want to give a shout out to. Oh my gosh! But yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody sincerely for just doing their part and raising voices and yeah, just making the future so much brighter, however long that's going
hmm
to take.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. When what is I kind of have a question for you because
Oh, sure, sure,
I
yeah.
love talking about gratitude, and for me that's always like the way out. If I'm unhappy, that is a way out. Or if I'm talking to a client that I'm working with and they are feeling down, it's like where can we find a couple things that are going well? How do you find gratitude, or like how do you work that for yourself?
I am staring in my bed right now, and that is something that I know it's gonna sound
Mhm.
really cheesy, but I'm just really
Yeah,
grateful for this bed, pillows,
that's
and
it.
just even the
Yeah.
smallest stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, as soon as you asked me this, I was literally
Uh-huh.
just because I'm always just standing just in my room space, so my bed is
Uh-huh.
just always right there by my side.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
there,
And like the comfort
like,
of that, the way your
yeah,
bed can give you rest and help you recuperate and restore and be ready for what you want to do next, for whatever the
exactly.
next day is.
I mean, I, I, like, without a doubt, I would not even have a bed right now, but it's just something that I am so grateful for. Like,
Hmm.
there's millions out there that are on the streets that can just say, oh, I'm just kind of grateful for this one person who stopped by and
Yeah.
gave me bread or
Hmm.
just some cash just to help me just coast through these days coming up ahead. So
Mm.
that's something that I think about a lot. It's the little stuff, which we
Yeah.
kind of take for granted. We don't really. It's kind of
Hmm.
easy for us to forget. It's like, yeah, I'm so grateful for the smallest stuff, but
Hmm.
the artist in us is just always like, and this is something that I kind of was dealing with today. Not gonna lie, where I'm just like, man, I really wish I could be doing more. You know the feeling?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
something that
Yeah.
a lot of us just kind of fall. It's a trap that we all just kind of fall into, and
Okay. Yeah.
it can be a pretty sucky feeling, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think something that tends to happen in this industry, I definitely have seen it a lot, and I talk to my clients about it, is we can be in this always on to the next thing and not taking the
Exactly.
time to deeply celebrate the things that we have done. And by remembering those things, it charges us up and gets us to really realize all that is behind us. Because when we walk into when we have an audition, whether it's self-tape or we're showing up for something, we come with everything behind us, every credit we've ever had, every class we've ever taken, the years that you've put into doing this, and just authentically who you are. So, if we acknowledge that, that's like a strong and powerful place to be coming from it, which is why when I'm coaching, whether I'm coaching one on one or in my small group program or in my courses or memberships, almost every call we begin with a celebration. And actually, I think, Robert, I think you've been to our celebration and intention rooms
I
that we do
have
once
one
a
or
month.
two, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
because
just kind of lurk in there.
well, it's so important that we think about celebrating because our culture actually doesn't encourage us to celebrate ourselves for some reason. It's really to keep us down and to keep us to be able to control people. That's why. But the truth is, we're all really powerful, intuitive beings as humans, and when we allow ourselves to see ourselves that way and we allow ourselves to see our greatness, that is where we begin getting stronger, getting more confident. So being able to find celebrations, even if it is as simple as what you said, I'm celebrating I have a bed today because I know so many people lost theirs. I'm grateful that I have a warm meal because I know how many people don't have that. And I'm celebrating that. And if we can keep finding those little things to celebrate, then we get better like at noticing all of the different things we can celebrate and be grateful for. And it's important that we do because I think a lot of us set these big goals and reach them. We reach goals and then what typically happens? I don't know, Robert, have you ever reached a goal and what happens when you get the goal?
What happens when you get the goal? I know a lot of times that happens. It's like, yeah, you feel satisfied, but at the same time, something happens and it doesn't really feel super rewarding, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's exactly it. So this happens to most of us. We'll set a goal, then we'll achieve it and we'll be like, "Great, check. What's the next goal?" Maybe we'll celebrate it for a very small amount of time, but typically I think we're just moving on to the next thing, so we're never satisfied. So if we allow ourselves to celebrate from moment to moment, oh, that was great. That conversation I had with my friend today was really awesome. I'm so grateful. I'm celebrating that moment I had with my friend. Looking at your checklist from this week, celebrating getting one thing done that was hard for you to do because it was out of your comfort zone. I did a reach out. That was scary for me, and I want to celebrate that. The more we do this, the more we become our own biggest fan, which is what we need to do because when we count on casting or coaches or other people in the world to affirm us all the time and we're not able to affirm ourselves, it really leaves those other people in a place of needing to take care of you versus you showing up as like this bright shining star that you are and being able to just give the best performance or the best have the best meeting that is possible for you.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think I even asked about like we didn't really talk too much about your program or just even how what led you to doing this. So if you'd like
Yeah,
to share, take it away.
absolutely. So I've been an actor my whole life. I'm one of those folks who knew from a very young age I was going to do this. So I pursued acting. I did not get official training in acting until probably around high school. I did some school plays and I always thought of myself as an actor. But I come from a musical background. My dad was a band director and my mom is a singer. So they met in music education. So I have this teaching side of me that my family really wanted me to be a teacher. But I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actor. So there came this point where I was pursuing my acting career. And every once in a while, I would be teaching people. And I would enjoy it. But I think part of me thought I couldn't do both. I thought I can only be an actor. If people see I'm a teacher, they're going to say, oh, you teach because you can't act, which, by the way, is a limiting belief. I think that's really untrue. A lot of the best teachers out there are really great performers and they teach and they're able to do both well. And so there was this moment in like 2016 when I was performing in the show called Avenue Q. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah,
Oh
with the
yeah,
puppets.
yep.
Yeah. So I had done a few productions of Avenue Q, and usually when I learn something, I want to teach it. So I learned puppetry. So I became a puppet coach for productions of Avenue Q that were happening regionally. So I was in this performance where I was playing one of the tracks. I was like Mrs. T in one of the Bad Idea Bears, and I was also the puppet coach for that show. And I felt so full. I felt so just connected fully with who I am because I got to be both on the creative team as the puppet coach and I was also the performer. And so I really had this awakening of, oh, you can be a teacher and you can be a performer, and it's actually possible for you to do both. And in fact, the messaging I was getting really from the universe was like, Elise, you need to be doing both. Both are true for you. And so that fall, I had this opportunity to be in another play where I had a much smaller role and I was not a coach in any way. I wasn't on the creative team. And I felt so empty having a really small role and not being able to engage all the parts of me that I realized, okay, I need to make some changes. And so the changes I made was actually creating the global actor. So I started my career coaching business. And as I did that, I continued to act. And through the global actor coaching program, I found quickly I would help actors with all sorts of things. I would help actors get agents, I would help actors get ready for regional theater audition seasons, and I would help them get into voiceover and then audiobooks. And it became really clear to me like a year or two in that people really wanted to know about audiobook narration because I had found a way to book a lot of jobs. So I had actually at that point I started in 2015 and within a first 2 or 3 years I had already booked 50 or 60 audiobooks. That's actually how I got my first voiceover agent was because I had so many books and they were like, "How did you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I book work on my own and you can please help me and we can grow together." Um, and so I think like I found audiobooks to be such a great solution for like the 9 to 5 job that actors need, but can't always find within acting. And I say need, you don't need a 9 to 5, but we do need an abundance of money coming in that is connected to our artistry so that we get to practice our craft and has some flexibility so that when other acting opportunities come in, we can find a way to do that too. So I found audiobook narration kind of became this 9 to 5 where I could narrate during the day and be in theater at nights and on the weekends. I could go into New York to do auditions when I needed to. But it really changed everything for me. I became the breadwinner in my family based on how much money I was able to bring in through audiobooks. I was able to help my husband leave a job that was no longer serving him because he's also a creative, he's a musician. So we were able to kind of help him leave that job. So that was like incredible because I really got the messaging that actors struggle, that to be an artist is to struggle. Like the struggling actor thing was like really what people in the small town I grew up in really thought. So when I knew I was going to be an actor, I really always felt like I had to convince people that I could do it. And a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you can't do that. Oh no, that's not a practical job." Da 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 da. So for me, audiobook narration became this practical way to be an actor and get paid well for it and to get to use my full toolkit in a way that I really hadn't up until that point with the theater jobs I had had. And so out of the global actor and like doing these small group coaching groups, the Great Audiobook Adventure evolved out of that. Basically, this framework that I had been working on became a course in the fall of 2019. So a few months later, we know what happened. 2020, March 2020. I had a solution for all of these actors. And I was like, you know what, everybody, it's going to be okay. You all need to get into audiobooks. And so the Great Audiobook Adventure really, really took off because we had this really awesome solution for people. So our course, the Great Audiobook Adventure, meets the actor or voice actor where they're at with all of the tools you already have, but we help you get really specific with building a home studio for folks who don't have one yet, really getting clear on how to market yourself and really getting to know the audiobook medium specifically. And then I teach you how to build relationships with publishers so that you can build multiple clients. There's so much work available in this industry. The way auditions will typically work from publishers is when you get an audition request, usually you're one of a handful of people that they've asked an audition for from. So to me, just the numbers of that just makes so much more sense for me to be one of 5 to 10 people auditioning for a job instead of one of like 1,000 or more auditioning for like a 30-second commercial or something like that.
Yeah, and it's so incredible that it just really started growing with more actors and a lot of people that are just getting their start, just kind of curious on like, oh man, where am I gonna go from there? And
Yeah.
I was laughing earlier because man, I just remembered the insanity of everything just kind of just the world just
Yeah.
shut down, just stopped right then and there. And
Right.
that's also another thing that I was like just alluding to, where it's like, even in the midst of the worst situations, like what happened in 2020 and what's happening
Right.
right now, it's like there is always a light that is just present
Yeah.
anywhere.
So
And
true.
with your program, because I know that you've coached so many different actors, and
Hmm.
I actually did check out your website not too long
Yeah.
ago, and just seeing the testimonials of all of these actors that have just been turned their lives around. And even a guest, I also saw a video with a guest that I've actually had on the show,
Oh, cool.
Jana Cardia.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like, I guess we both got connected through you. So I just wanted to say thank you so
So
much.
cool.
And yeah,
Oh my
just so
gosh.
many
Thank
different people
you.
that I'm just starting to connect with, just all in the same journey together. So
Hmm.
I just really think that this program is amazing and how it has been,
Oh, I
it's
think I know
really
you're
changed
talking.
over my
Did
life.
Jenna Aquino?
Jenna,
Jennifer Aquino? Is that who you're talking about? Jennifer Aquino? I can't remember what name
I
you
think
said.
it might have been Jennifer or it might have been Jana. Yeah, one of the
Okay,
two.
awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
But yeah, just wanted to clarify that right now. But yeah, it's just it changed so many lives, and I'm just glad that it's still going strong to this very day.
Thank
And
you
you
so
might,
much, Robert. Yeah, I really think there's still so much growth in the industry. I think there's some fear around AI right now, and I think that it's really important to remind people there's that with all that's happening with AI, there's still, I mean, there's still such human voices is where it's at, and like that's what humans are always going to need. And so, yeah, AI is here. It's going to be affecting us in different ways, but the audiobook industry hasn't changed. We're still, as actors, being hired. I have so many clients who are continuing to have this be their day job supplement. Like this is their main bread and butter are coming from their day job being an audiobook narrator. So.
yeah. And look, we could talk about AI all we want, but
I know. Why did
there,
I bring that up? I guess I like to bring it up because here's what I know. The actors who are going to be working the most in audiobooks and in other avenues are going to be the ones who don't sound like AI. When a human is being hired, we're being hired for all of our flaws. We're being hired for all of the things that make us who we are. And so I have these calls that we do inside the Great Audiobook Adventure, which are called Be Undeniable Narration Calls, because I want each of us to feel undeniably ourselves. Like, and I want us to show up as really the most human version of ourselves, because that is what's booking the job when they go to hire a human, right?
yeah, I see what you're saying. So, I mean, I'm just there's a lot of different. I mean, Nava right now they're
Mhm.
doing. I saw that they're doing a program or just they're still negotiating the protection laws. So don't quote me on
Yeah.
this because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a member yet,
Okay.
but I
Mhm.
know that they're still doing the the negotiation deals and just as a way to protect actors against the
Yes.
synthesis.
Really grateful. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
there's
can't speak.
legislation in New York and California right now.
Exactly. Synthesized voices. Nailed it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just protecting us from all of this mumbo jumbo. And yeah, so
Absolutely.
and going back to the program, how much would you say like because I know that since you've started it and you have so
Mhm.
many returning clients, so many
Mhm.
testimonials for like in the video that is probably on the website,
Yeah.
which I'll definitely
Uh-huh.
link to in a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's so or maybe we could probably watch it during this recording. We'll see how much time we have. So
Okay.
we'll check it
We
out.
have about 900 actors have gone through the Great Audiobook
Yeah,
Adventure now.
man. Did you expect it to have this big of a turnout?
You know, I knew I had a great framework because it had changed my life so much. And when I started the course, I really didn't see anybody teaching what I teach, which is how to build relationships specifically with publishers. I don't teach people how to make it on ACX per se. There's people who do that, but I guide people to working with publishers because that's where the best paying, most protections via the union work is. And so building clients via publishers is what I saw and what I experienced to be the best way to bring in the most consistent amount of work possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's still gonna continue to grow even as we're speaking right now. So you're just really doing a really great thing. And man, if we had more time, I probably would have talked more about like, working with each specific client or just, how your coaching service is, how you work with each person. But I think there's like other interviews that I
Oh
probably
my
did
gosh, you know
that
what
answered.
I love to offer Robert, I'd love to offer everybody the opportunity to get a taste of working with me. I have a free gift if you'd like, I can share with everybody. I will be teaching a free class, which is the introduction to the Great Audiobook Adventure, at the end of January. But even if you listen to this after that, you can go to audiobookadventure.com/learn more and you can take the class with me. and I'm there to answer any questions that you have. So you'll get a taste of what working with me is like, a taste of what the process is like, and then you can ask me questions if you want to take it to the next level.
Yep, pretty dope. I anything else that you wanted to share or like plug in just real quick?
Oh, sure, sure, sure. I have a couple. Let me see. I'm trying to think if I would love for folks to check out my audiobook work. You can go to any place where you listen to audiobooks, and depending on what genre you like, I've done fantasy, I've done sci-fi, nonfiction, rom-com. So I would say go explore some of my own narration. The one of the bookings I'm most proud of is I narrated the definitive biography of Madonna last year in 2023, which won the Earphones Award and was nominated for the Sovis Awards this past December. So I'm really proud of that project because it was such it really impacted me as an artist. Madonna is someone who really got hit hard by the media through the 80s and 90s. And it was so interesting to see this author, the author of this biography. Her name is Mary Gabriel, and she's an incredible journalist. And this book is actually 800 pages. The audiobook is 42 hours long. And it's just an epic exploration of Madonna as a person, as an artist, and all of history that has happened throughout her life, and just the icon that she has been for different social changes that have really happened over these past 60 years.
Man, so I guess thank you for redirecting people to Madonna. And yeah, wasn't expecting this, but okay, I guess we'll just conclude this in the next part. So if you enjoyed this so far, definitely do that YouTube thing, like, subscribe, whatever, or listen on Spotify and SoundCloud, and we'll see you in the finale. I'll see you in a bit. Thanks.
Cool.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So before we officially conclude this little episode, I do have something that I think I've only done maybe once on the show, and this is not something that I do very often, but we are going to watch testimonials of. So if you guys wanted to check out Elise's program and just want to check out to see what it's all about, and just to get a little taste to see if it's really the right fit for you, well, we're going to watch some testimonials, and we're just going to, hear from others' experience of just doing her thing, and you can check it out yourself. So with that said, let us screen share just for a little bit. Alrighty, here we are. And let me know if you can hear the sound. Okay, so we got Lindsay, Dominique, Charlie Albers. I know Charlie, so what we're gonna be doing here.
Oh, yeah, this is from Momentum Club. Awesome.
Yeah, so this is probably what we're gonna watch right now.
That's great.
And yeah, we'll just take a listen, watch it this, and yeah, just see just how much this has really impacted a lot of your students, clients, and so on and so forth. So with that said, let me know if the sound comes through, but yeah, let's give it a watch.
Great. And I'll just share this first narrator that you're going to hear from, Jennifer Aquino, is now directing with so many major publishers. She's an award-winning narrator today, has worked with dozens of publishers and producers, and probably at this point narrated over 70 audiobooks.
Wow. Way to go, Jennifer. Alrighty, let's watch. Can you hear the sound?
I started narrating 6 months ago. The Momentum Club was perfect timing for me after I finished the course. I was at the point where my demo was done. So that very first month, I did a deep dive on how to reach out to publishers, what to say, how often to reach out to them, and things like that. And it really, really helped me. And in 6 months, I've done now 14 books with 8 publishers.
one of the things that I think is great about Momentum, and it's such a great place to be because everybody comes at you from a place of acceptance and knowing where you are and giving you the support from where you are to where you want to go. It's easy when you're new at this or you don't have an acting background or anything to get overwhelmed and everything, but I think Elise really sets the tone here, and is that we're all artists, whether we're major theater people or major film and TV theater, or have had a huge voiceover career. The support and the listening that goes on, and I think that's really important, and really just the acceptance, because whenever I come back in, Lisa's like, great, you're here, what can I help you? And that's so important.
For 1,000,002 things, I feel like I'm stressed out and stretched so thin sometimes, but when I get off track, it's like Momentum Club is such a great support that it's really been, it's great. It's great to keep me here because I really want to be here and really get this going.
I initially had joined Momentum Club for a 3-month trial period in December. And what was great with that is that we worked on the action plan. And my action plan was I wanted to book my first book by the end of the year, making $1,000 or more with a publisher. At least gave me tools that was accessible for me. So with that clarity, I ended up achieving my goal 6 months ahead of time. So I booked my first book, making over $1,000. So I'm super excited about that. And I've rejoined because in tandem with doing that, I also ended up booking a second book. So, for anyone who knows that this is what they want to do, but isn't sure how to navigate a plan in place, like what it is that you want to do, but don't necessarily have the organization skills, she really helped me get a target together so that way I'm not all over the place.
I joined Momentum Club first and then joined the audiobook adventures. I consider myself an actor first and then a burgeoning audiobook narrator. And this is something that I want to do for a long time. Now at this point, managers are contacting me, agents are contacting me. So there's some good things happening on the horizon, but I really see the need for Momentum Club now that things are starting to progress.
I started the Great Audiobook Adventure at the end of 2019, and then right after that hopped into the Momentum Club because even though the steps were right there, as you're going through it, you just have all of these very special questions that pop up that you weren't thinking of. And I always learned so much from just listening to other people's questions and their coaching, and it always motivated me after a call. My progress has been really great thanks to Elise, and since I joined, I had one book under my belt, and I'm recording my 20th right now and have already booked my 23rd. So I'm just really excited, and yeah, it's been really great.
Being in the Momentum Club for many months now, audiobook journey and playwriting, this wasn't even in my agenda. My audiobook demo is already done, and I got emails saying that I was one of the grant recipients for the New York Foundation of the Arts. So now I get to produce my plays on stage. I'm really thrilled about it, and it's because of Momentum Club.
All right, so that was the Momentum Club. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Robert. Yeah, so many of those folks had gone through the Great Audiobook Adventure, and then Momentum Club is this awesome coaching container that I recommend for people after the course. And that was such a joy for me to see, because some of these folks, as you heard, have just taken off. And that specific video we actually created a few years ago now. So some folks were saying I've done 12 books. I'm now you've done 70. And it's just incredible. So thank you so much for sharing that so I could rewatch it too.
Oh yeah, because I didn't even know about this until I just stumbled onto the Global Actor page, and then I looked at this, the Momentum Club, and yeah, and that's kind of what got me into asking, just about your program and specifically with this, because I know it's such like a great resource for actors that are just getting started, and especially for those that came from stage, theater, and all that jazz.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. And I know that with something like this, I know you said that this was made a few years ago, but man, I imagine the amount of work that they've been booking since then and what
Oh
they're
yeah, and we've got
doing
some
right
updated
now.
testimonials up at the top as well. And I guess I also want to let folks know I launched the Global Actor podcast last year. So if you're just curious to learn more about the methods and the frameworks that I teach or hear from other folks who worked with me, highly recommend checking out the podcast just to start learning from me as well
Yeah.
for
And we
free.
still got a few other testimonials right here, but I just specifically wanted to show off why join the
Yeah.
Memento Club. Well,
Cool.
there you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, this page is a lot of other, yeah, posting about it on, LinkedIn, Facebook, and oh, here we go. So this is Jana Cardia.
Yeah, there's Jana. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we might as well just watch her testimonial, then we'll just probably wrap it up.
I feel like I'm on the other side of things. I don't know, like other side meaning I was, just a few weeks ago, less than a month ago, where these ladies are like getting their demos ready and then done by you. And it's really fun to be on the other side, you guys. It happens like that. and you just kind of kick into gear and you just start doing the work. Being on your side, which I was like literally 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh, how is that gonna happen? Do you know what I mean? Being on the other side is super doable. And then Elise, so much kudos, because when I go to this step, like, oh my God, I got the manuscript. Okay, well, I already prepped my iAnnotate. I already trained myself how to use iAnnotate. I uploaded it through Google Drive. Done. There's my script. Now I'm prepping. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Yeah. And then just like sitting in my booth, I'm like, punch and roll. I was taught that. I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And so it's just exciting and it's all going to work out. I get little glitches every day, no problem. But just it's fun to be on the other side, and just you'll be there in a hot second.
Dude. Yeah, like literally in both interviews that I did with her last year, this was her. Like literally this amount of energy that we
I
were just
love
kind of
Jana.
spitballing with each other. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, she's quite a character and I just really love just seeing her succeed. And that's pretty much just the same for a lot of these actors that have done this, because they're the page literally
We
just
deserve to succeed.
yeah,
Like we as performers have worked so
yeah.
hard. And this might seem like what you're hearing is like, what? How could that happen for them? How could that happen for me? Like this is
Yeah,
so many people's
exactly.
success story. There's plenty of work because not everyone's willing to learn something new and do all the work you need to do to break in. But once you do, that work really comes back fold. So I'll say the investment in the great audiobook adventure, people 20x their investment. Sometimes in their first year or their first 2 years, they make that money back times 20, depending on like how willing and where they're at with their skill and all different things, of course.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say to anybody that has seen that just looking at themselves, from the videos and the testimonials that, came out like years ago, I just want to say congratulations and thanks for, I guess, putting yourselves out there and just sharing just how much Elise has really helped you along your journey. And I can probably feel like when you really listen back to a lot of your old videos from a few years ago, and it's just like, oh wow, man, it's definitely a lot different than now. Kind of.
Well, it's so
Yeah.
interesting because we have similar success stories today. So if you go to audiobookadventure.com, you'll see some more recent ones.
Hmm.
And the it's incredible because some of the folks that we've seen on that video, like Catherine is one person who's like on the national tour of Cursed Child, Harry Potter right now. So like these are all
Yeah.
actors who are continuing to work. And actually that was postponed, I believe, during the pandemic. So audiobooks was what she did in between that.
Wow. Yeah, and for audiobooks, because I know that it's definitely an interesting beast of tackling because you have
Mhm.
because it sounds like, oh yeah, reading a story, that sounds fine. Uh, you also gotta edit it, and yeah, it's a
Well,
lot
well,
of
we
reading.
teach punch and roll recording. So you're
Punch and roll.
not,
Yeah,
yeah.
bingo.
So like
Yeah.
Jenna was saying, so we don't want you to take the time. You're not going to be the editor, but you do need to know how to punch and roll, which might sound confusing at first, but honestly, we teach it.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. If you've been able to submit for any kind of voiceover auditions. Like you can learn this, you can learn this tech. And once you do, what I love about working with publishers is because all you need to be sending in is good sounding raw audio, and then they're doing the post-production on their end. They're sending you pickups, you re-record those, send them back, and you can stay in your own zone of genius as an actor. And it's really like doing a one-person show. It's like create all the characters. It's so much fun.
Yeah, so it's like you're doing, like you said, one person show, but as an audiobook. And
Mhm.
it can be challenging, but also kind of fun.
A lot, very fun from my perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're somebody who is, because I know we can also discuss like the versatility or the
Yes.
actors that could do so many different characters and under in the
Yeah.
same breath. And I think one very good interview that I did with a voice actress, Erin Fitzgerald, which was like way back when, but she was
Uh-huh.
also talking about the process of the Alexander technique where
Oh.
morphing the face or just pretty much
Hmm.
distorting a body posture can really let you, it's not about the doing a voice, it's like about
Hmm.
the overall attitude of the character, and
Yeah,
that
and
is what, yeah, continue.
totally. And we're using our acting technique. Actually, Robert, I was listening to before we got on today, I wanted to listen to
Okay.
a past episode of yours. I was listening to your interview with Bob Bergen. And I would
Man.
agree with him where you are an act, you got to bring your acting chops to this. You get to put yourself in the shoes of like some books I do, I play 30 to 50 characters. So I'm casting those characters. I'm like, who would I, if I were a film director, who would I cast each of these roles as? And how can I step into this character? And how is this character different than me or similar to me? And like, I get physical with it. And then I see like what voice comes from that. Or I base it on someone whose voice I already know.
Yeah, I actually do have a great story about Bob now that you brought him up.
Oh,
So
awesome.
um because I'm a part of the Bloombox Facebook group where it's with
Awesome.
Steve Bloom, and Bob is a frequent like commenter on there. Like he contributes so
Cool.
much and he takes the time out of his day for free just to help students on their acting journey, which I really do admire that because with so many actors, like schedules can be really busy, but I like that Bob really does a lot of these even on his website and on his Instagram page, which y'all definitely got to check out. So he really teaches a lot about, oh, coming up with different characters in the same show or just negotiating with
Nice.
agents. And he also goes
Yeah.
really in, like the man knows the goes into the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty of, applying for like in auditions, making a demo, and doing a lot of the stuff
Great.
that a lot of us would ask, like, "Oh, so when is the best time to resubmit for agents?" He's pretty much got you covered, and
Awesome.
you definitely want to take it from somebody who is still actively working in the industry. That's the biggest lesson that I wanted to share here. It's like you
Yeah.
don't like you can get coaching from a lot of actors, but definitely take it with folks like Elise or Bob who have been in
Hmm.
this for many,
Yeah,
many,
we're
many
acting
years.
every day. I just
Yeah.
was recording earlier today. I'm working on
Yeah.
memorizing an on-camera thing right after this.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, so it it's fun. It never stops, but you know what? We just love doing the work that we do.
Yeah,
That's pretty much as simple
absolutely.
as that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, like right now, I just got an audiobook offer that I'm going to be recording tomorrow. So, hey,
Yes, congratulations, Robert. That's
yeah,
so
literally
awesome.
before this. So, yeah, definitely helped lift my moods a bit. And so did this
Yes.
interview, honestly, because man,
Oh,
I
it's been a
I really
joy.
enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, it's really nice getting to chat with you finally. I know we kind of had to. This happens a lot with my guests where time zones and scheduling, boy, howdy. Yeah, but it's all good though, because we finally got a lot of invaluable info that you could get pretty much for free. And if you wanted to really get into the get your toes wet, if that's the
hmm
right term,
Sure,
like if you wanted to
sure.
work with Elise, then check out Momentum Club, check out her website, check out
Check
all
out
of
the
her
free,
stuff.
yeah, the free
Yeah,
class coming up would be great for anyone who hasn't
yeah.
explored audiobooks, or maybe you've worked on ACX, but you're wondering what it's like to work with publishers. So again, I'll give that link to you, Robert, as well, but it's audiobookadventure.com/learn more. Or you can just go to audiobookadventure.com and write your name in for the wait list, and we'll contact you as soon as my next live free class is happening.
Yeah, so better get on that wait list and emphasis on the wait list because I know that a lot of this, yeah, lists like this can take a while. So, but I mean, I know that the patience can definitely, I know it's going to pay off eventually, because with a lot of us that are just constantly on the go all the time, it could be like, oh wow, I was on a wait list. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it just kind of happens where you send out an audition and then just kind of forget about it. And then when you're contacted, it's like, oh, okay. It happens all the time. Trust me.
Totally get that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see here. I guess to close this out, what is something that you're the most grateful for? Grateful as of right now, and something that you've been the most grateful for all your life.
Mm.
Doesn't necessarily have to be
Oh,
last
great.
year, doesn't have to be like, when you first
hmm
got started with the global
Yeah.
and momentum. It could just be right now in this present moment.
Right
What would it
now,
be?
right now, I'm most grateful for having deep friendships with people who really see me and really get me, who I've met at all different times of my life, some as early as this year, some as far back as like 20, 25 years ago. And I'm just so grateful because I think we need to remember and be around people who love us so much, especially because we put ourselves in places to not be chosen very often. So having like such a loving circle of friends to come back to is what I'm most grateful for in this moment. And that includes my husband, Justin, and my Woodle
Oh
puppy,
yeah.
Ampersand, as well.
Ah yeah, you just got to throw in family in there.
Absolutely. And then, like my whole life, what I'm grateful for, I'm really grateful for like, my dreamer self. I've been a dreamer my whole life. I'm going to keep being that way. As dark as this world gets, I'm going to continue to find the light. I'm going to continue to keep finding ways to keep going, to use my imagination, to really tune into my inner wisdom. And so I'm super grateful for that. Without that, I wouldn't be where I am.
Oh yeah, praise God to that. Because you did ask me what am I the most grateful for earlier, so I thought I'd return the favor.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, anytime. And yeah, there's so many other things that I would be grateful for, but just like I said earlier, just a house, bed, just the stuff that I do have right now. It's just, honestly, I couldn't really ask for anything more. Like, I have all this stuff around me. Like, I'm good, you know?
hmm Awesome.
I'm not complaining. Yeah. So I know there's many more that I wanted to get to, but unfortunately, I think we're kind of at the place where we're just, yeah, we're at the part of the podcast where we unfortunately have to bid adieu for the time being. But will we do a follow-up? Only time will tell. So thank you so much for joining me, Elise. This was such a huge pleasure of finally getting to do this with you. Yeah, and I was
Thank you so
almost
much,
gonna,
Robert. It's been a joy.
yeah, I was almost gonna cancel that, honestly, but I'm just like glad that I decided to do this today. It's
Oh,
so much
I'm
fun.
glad too. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, because I know that times are really tough right now, so let's just use a breather. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I could ask questions like, "Oh, how do you juggle all of this work-life balance or blah 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 blah," but there's so much other stuff. You could just look it up online. And I know there's probably an interview or two that I did where I kind of get the I mean, I know that everybody has different answers to everything. So if you want those questions, you could probably just check out a past interview that I probably did where like I talk about life. Let's see. Oh, and it was also like the most rewarding and the most satisfying, but I think we kind of already answered all of these, like the challenges and the triumphs of everything. So, yeah, I believe that's about it. Uh, and I know you've already shared, your website and everything, but what about your social media? Where can
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I'm at theglobalactor.com. We share all sorts of clips from our podcast there. Listen to the Global Actor podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And then also, we've got a free Facebook group for actors. It's called hashtag Global Actors. So if you go to Facebook and look up hashtag Global Actors, you'll find us.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the group, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird where I'm like, yeah, I can join something, and then I just kind of lurk every so often. So that's me.
No more.
Turning
You're
up where
going to
you
be,
least expect it. Yeah.
that's okay. You don't need to lurk anymore. You can show up fully,
Oh,
Robert.
yeah, for
We
sure.
love
And
we love seeing you.
yeah, and you might expect to see me as a future client on your
I would
little
love that.
momentum. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. So I guess with all of that said, what is the last bit of wisdom or any last final words that you want to say before we
Yeah,
conclude?
absolutely. I want anyone who's listening to this to remember that we are creative beings. We have the solutions, we have the bright lights. We were given the gifts we were given. And even if that just means you expressing your gifts by performing for yourself or the people around you, or if it means going after your big, big dreams, I encourage you to keep growing and keep going. We need dreamers, we need creatives now more than ever. And your voice needs to be heard. So keep going and find the places where you are around people who encourage you to keep going. I'd be honored to be a part of your circle in that way and look for the ways you already have that in your life. And I'm cheering you on always.
Very, very well said. And as for the outro, I usually have a guest be like, "Hi, my name is Elise. I've done this, and this is Station Square with Robert Jackson."
Sure. Okay.
Yep, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hi, I'm Elise Arsenault, and this is Station Square with Robert Jackson.
Yeah. And be sure to check out her program, Momentum Club, Global Audiobook Adventures, and some other stuff I'm probably forgetting. But yeah. Oh, and the free audiobook intro class. So that'll be on January 30th, 31st, you said?
January 28th is when we bring it
28th.
back, but there's 3 dates to choose from. So yeah, just go to audiobookadventure.com for all the info.
Okay, awesome. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe once again, and God loves you. I love you. We all love you. And just let's all give each other hugs when, preferably when all of this is over. Okay, just, no, just. Anyways, take care, y'all, and yeah, let's have a great 2025 despite the odds being against us, huh? Let's keep raising the bar and keep making this. Let's just make 2025 a better, everywhere a better place, really. So thank you so much, and talk to y'all later. This is Robert Jackson, Station Square, signing out. Bye bye. Live long and prosper.